This principle of honor overflows into other important areas of our lives. Jesus teaches us to have a heart of honor, give honor to whom honor is due. And he teaches us to have a heart of honor for people in position of authority. He honors Caesar with payment of taxes, even though taxes were a hot button issue. Tax collectors worked for Rome. They were known for being crooked, for raising taxes on people and taking more than what they really should have. They worked off of commission, so to speak. So they were known by the people as being crooked in their hearts, and they didn't like them for it. In Matthew chapter 7 and verses 24 through 27, the situation is this. When they came to Capernaum, those who collected the 2 drachma tax came to Peter and said, "Does your teacher not pay the 2 drachma tax?" He said, "Yes." And when he came into the house, Jesus spoke to him first, saying, "What do you think, Simon? From whom do the kings of the earth collect customs or poll tax? From their sons or from strangers?" Then Peter said, "From strangers." Jesus said to him, "Then the sons are exempt. However, so that we do not offend them, go to the sea and throw in a hook and take the first fish that comes up. And when you open its mouth, you will find a shekel. Take that and give it to them for you and me." Jesus teaches us the importance of still honoring those who are in position of authority. He refers to himself and Peter as actually being free of that obligation, but they're going to go ahead and do it anyway, so as not to offend them. Their rights are being infringed upon. Their freedoms are being infringed upon, and Jesus says, we're going to go ahead and we're going to do this anyway, even though we really shouldn't have to. Why would Jesus do that? Listen in Romans chapter 13 and verses 7 through 10 at what the Apostle Paul has to say about honoring the governing authorities. He says, "Render to all what is due them, tax to whom tax is due, custom to whom custom, fear to whom fear, honor to whom honor." So to whom is this honor due? Now, I want you to notice that God is the first one on this list. In Romans 13 and verse 1, it says, "There is no authority except from God, and those who exist are established by God." But then, the context is telling us that being in subjection to the governing authorities is being in subjection to God. This is hard stuff for us, I think. There's a specific point that God wants us to understand in order to be sure that we are honoring Him in the way that we deal with this life. Paul says it twice. Listen to how he says it. In verse 6, he says, "For rulers are servants of God." But leading up to this in verse 4, he calls those in positions of authority a minister of God to you for good. Do you have a hard time believing that? Sometimes we look around at our authority figures. I know with a lot of things that we're facing right now with the coronavirus, this is hard stuff for us to accept and to recognize with this. Further in this, it's showing us that we honor God when we honor the governing authorities. And by honoring, it means submitting to their authority willingly. We financially support them through taxes. We hold to their customs. Customs also has to do with like monies and fees and that sort of a thing and paying those. We respect and obey them, fear to whom fear. We respect and obey them because of their position of authority for the purpose of doing good and punishing evil. It's helping to protect and serve those who are good. This is a hard thing for us, but this is a part of Paul's description of being a living sacrifice because we've been shown the mercies of God in our lives, Romans 12 verses 1 and 2. So because we've been shown the mercies of God, we submit to the will of God by serving others, by submitting to others, by doing what's in the best interest of others. We need to get away from a mindset of self, in serving self. And this is about me, and this is about my freedoms and my rights. We need to get away from that mindset. Honor is devoid of a self-serving, prideful heart.